Hello and welcome to It's Only Electric. I'm sitting in the BYD HAN. This is a big luxury sedan from Build Your Dreams. It's a newly introduced car to the European market. Today I'm going to focus on 5 good and 5 bad things about this car. And as always, I want to start with the bad things to end up with a better mood with the good things. I don't know if you've seen my previous videos, a full review and a noise, acceleration and consumption test. But if you don't have, please do so. So to the first bad thing, and that's about software. I mean, it's a lot of small points and I think there is a lot of room for improvement. So maybe and hopefully BYD will watch this video and fix some of the things. The first thing is a very easy thing but a very annoying thing, and that's when you put your phone on the QI charger and that always gives you that message. I mean, I know that the phone is charging, that's why I put it here. I don't need to have a message for it, and at least not a message that's covering the whole screen and it actually hiding a lot of good information behind. Look, yeah. Please remove that, or please give me the option to remove that message at least. Another thing that needs to be addressed in the software is things like translations. I know that this is a new brand on the market, so it's still under development and under fixing, so it will get better all the time. I think it's pretty good to be such a new car on the market, but there is still some things like the menu system could be easier. They're using a lot of names and concepts that's not understandable for people that don't know BYD. For instance, D-Link, I don't think there is any meaning to calling it D-Link. You can call it media or something like that instead of D-Link. Another thing is the new energy item on the menu, and that's when it comes to recuperation settings. It is not called recuperation or regeneration or regen, it's called energy feedback intensity. Doesn't make sense. I mean, you have 2 settings, standard or high, but please call it what it is. I mean, energy feedback intensity doesn't say me anything. And another thing is that when you set it to high, it says larger in the screen. And when you set it to standard, it says standard. So the wordings doesn't match between the 2 screens. Another thing that's very annoying is the warning chimes. I mean, the warning chimes, it almost sounds like the buzzer from the old wake-up clocks you had when you was a kid, like from the 90s. It's an awful sound. I don't know why they use a separate buzzer, because it doesn't sound like it comes from the speaker system. So now it's telling me to touch the steering wheel, and I did. A very distinct and annoying sound. The next bad thing on the list is charging. The peak charging power is 120 kilowatts when fast charging. The charging curve looks decent. You can charge it from 30 to 80% in 30 minutes. That's okay, but it's not staggeringly good. I would prefer a bit of a higher peak power, at least when charging from low state of charge, up to maybe 50% to save some time. But I think 120 you can manage, is not bad, it's okay. The home charging is another story. It could be a lot better than it actually is, at least in this car. This car has a peak charging power when charging at home, AC charging, of 7 kilowatts. I mean, 7 kilowatts is, in most of the cases, good enough. I mean, my home charger is 7 kilowatts, but it's on 3 phases. So 3-phase charger, 10 amps, gives me approximately 7 kilowatts. But this car can only charge on 1 phase. So that means that I only get 1 phase, 10 amps. And that's like 2 kilowatts as charging power. So it takes like 45 hours to charge this car from 0 to 100 full. And that's not good enough. I mean, in Sweden at least, we must have 3-phase charging. Otherwise you will end up having trouble when trying to charge in a decent time and not get stressed about the charging of your car. So hopefully that's only a software issue. I don't know, and I hope it will be activated or retrofitted or somehow fixed for the future cars. To the next bad thing on the list, and that's the D-Pilot, the so-called Autopilot that Tesla calls it, self-driving capabilities. It has lane keep assist and distance assistance, so it does what you expect, but it is a bit hard to understand sometimes, and I have been experiencing cases when it just deactivates the D-Pilot for no reason, and it doesn't give me a warning or a chime, it just deactivates it, and I almost end up in the ditch. So that's not good. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I have tested it several times. The self-driving capability needs some more love. I mean, when it works good. It keeps you good in the lane. It is a bit stressful. It does a bit of a ping pong inside the lane, but I mean, that's software, so you can fix that. And with some more experience, it will probably work a lot better. Another bad thing is the practicality when it comes to boot capacity and non-foldable back seats. It is not meant to be a practical car in that manner. It's more focused on comfort and long travels. But I mean, it would have been great to at least have foldable back seats so you can fold the back row, but it is not possible, unfortunately. The thing you can do is to open that small ski latch in the middle, as you see just behind me. That's the only contact you have between the boot space and the interior cabin. The total cargo space on the BYD HAN is only 410 liters. You don't have any frunk, you only have that main boot space behind you. And together with non-foldable seats, it is limited in what you actually can do and can load your car with. So that's sad. If you have two cars, one more practical manner and this car, then it's probably not a problem, but it's a good thing to be aware of. So let's jump to the good things. And the first good thing of this car is actually the battery pack. It is running on an LFP BYD blade battery pack with a gross capacity of 85.4 kilowatt hours. The good thing with the LFP battery though is that you can charge it to 100% every time you charge it. It doesn't take damage from that, so always charge your LFP battery to 100%. So that means that you actually can utilize the full capacity all the time. I mean, with 521 kilometers of VLTP range, always available, compared to, for instance, a Tesla with an NMC battery or another car with an NMC battery, where you normally just charge it to 80 or 90%. So then you will lose 10 to 20% of that actual VLTP range in everyday driving. But you don't lose that range the same way in an LFP battery. So this car runs a big LFP battery with good range and always usable range. That's a really good thing to think of and know when you buy LFP cars. Charge them to 100%. Another good thing on the list is that the BYD HAN is equipped with vehicle to load capabilities. That means that you can connect an adapter to your charge port to get power out of your battery. So for instance, you can use power tools or charge things that consume up to 3 kilowatts. So that's good. That's a good thing to have. I don't have that on my Tesla, for instance. So to the next good thing on the list, and that's the back seat. It is a comfortable and spacious back seat where you can recline the backrest and really relax, because the back bench is not as benchy. It is good shaped and you get good support, and with a good recline level you actually sit really good here. And this is one of the best back seats I have tried, at least for two people. You won't travel as good with 3 people because there is kind of a notch here. That's great. And you can also move the front seat forward to create more comfort, and also use this nicely integrated central screen for the back seat controls, where you can control things like lighting, media, music, volume, air conditioning, seat heating or cooling, yeah, you name it. So you are actually in control in the back seat. To the next good thing on my list, that's comfort. I mean, I just mentioned the comfort in the back seat, but it's also comfortable when traveling. The suspension is good. It's a good mix between sportiness and comfort. You feel that you are in control all the time as a driver. It doesn't behave strange when pushing it to the limits. I mean, it behaves good when accelerating hard, behaves good in corners, but it's still comfortable and it doesn't lean too much in the corners. So it's a good car to drive and you feel safe while driving it. I really like the driving characteristics of this car. So to the last good thing on my list, and that's the interior design. It's a perfect blend between hardware buttons and software buttons. They have managed to balance that very well, in my opinion. And especially the buttons on the steering wheel, they are real buttons, hardware buttons with travel when you press it. Nicely done when it comes to layout and the positioning of the buttons and good functions. You have almost everything you need directly on the steering wheel. And that together with modern looking, but at the same time classic interior dash design, it's a perfect fit for those who doesn't like Spartan interiors like Tesla. You have a good mixture and a good combination where old classic interior design like Mercedes meets more modern and sleek design. So it's a good balance. And on top of that, there's also a great integration of ambient lighting, both in the back seat on the inside of the doors, and it goes all the way into the front, all the way around, and there is hidden lights in a lot of places. And you have a big illuminated panel on top of the dash. That one could have been a bit more settled. It flashes and moves a bit too much for my liking, but it is a good implementation and I think a lot of people can like it. So that's my list of 5 bad and 5 good things about this car. I mean, the only bad thing that's really hard to live with is the charging, the home charging capacity that's only one-phased. So a peak charging power of 7 kilowatts, but that's only when you have a very high amp charger at home on a single phase. And most of us in Sweden don't have that. Normally we have 10 or 16, and that won't be enough to be able to charge conveniently overnight at home. You need higher amperage. So hopefully it's only a software thing. I'm not sure, but let's see about that in the future. All in all, it's a great car. Nice comfort when traveling. The back seat is amazing. Soft seats with great support. I really like them. So this is one of few cars that I really want to sit in the back seat in. So that's a good point. If you missed my other videos about this car, the review and the consumption test, please look at those here. Good information for you guys that want to know more about this car. Please share your thoughts in the comments below and let me know what you think about this car and what you think about my list of 5 good and 5 bad things, and see if you can solve any of my issues or give me some other good or bad reasons to buy this car or not to buy this car. I think that's it for now. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay electric, and thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.